So guys, if you've watched any of our other videos, you've heard us talk about the 1-minute video, the key to advertising on Facebook and building your personal brand. So before we get started, I wanted to give you an example of what a 1-minute video looks like. So here we go. When I was 20 years old, a sophomore in college, I spent $2,000, all the money I had in my bank account, on a Facebook consulting course. I was so frustrated with what I was learning in school. I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it that I was going to use in the real world. I was attending so many club meetings. I was taking 21 credit hours of classes. I was doing so many things. I had barely enough time to sleep. And even with all of that, I felt like I hadn't gotten any tactical skills to bring to the real world. So what I did was I bought this course and I started investing in learning things from people who had done it before. I learned from practitioners, and I was always looking for more people to learn from. I started going to network events, and eventually I found a mentor who invested in me and taught me everything else that I needed to know. And now I have a super cool opportunity to work on big accounts in a big, well-known digital marketing agency. And if you want to learn what I learned doing, the Facebook consulting, what I've learned from my mentors and from all the people that I've gotten to meet and from my experience, then I put together a few of my best tips, a few of the best strategies that you can see in this free email that I'm going to send you. So just sign up below and check it out.
Awesome. So that was a nice example from Ben. And let's talk about why 1-minute videos are so important. So you guys just noticed Ben told a story, right? So video is the most optimal way to tell a story. And advertisers call this the baloney principle. And the principle is imagine if you have a dog or a cat or something and it gets sick. So you go to try to give it some medicine. For example, I have a dog named Sydney. And a while ago she got kennel cough. So I got some medicine from the vet. I go try and give it to her. She spits it out, right? So the only way I could get her to take the medicine was I had to wrap it up in some kind of cheese or bologna. So that's called the baloney principle. You do the same thing, right? So even if you're a student just trying to work on your personal brand, work on your resume, get your first real job, you want to get in the practice of telling videos that are telling your stories, because that's what will attract people to you. Start with your why. We want to take you through the 4 steps of creating great 1-minute videos and show you guys a few more examples. So let's hop over here to the whiteboard and go through our 4 key components. Now the first component is the hook, and this happens in the first 0 to 3 seconds. Especially on Facebook for normal videos, the average watch time for a video is only 6 seconds. And oftentimes 70% of the audience won't even watch for 3 seconds or more. So in order to capture people's attention, you have to start right away. And you notice Ben started with a story, when I was in college I spent $2,000 of my own money, right? So it kind of gives you some incentive to continue watching. Next, you lean into some kind of pain or some kind of problem. Why should they continue watching this video? So Ben was looking for a solution, with his course, having struggles. It leads to a solution, talk about getting a mentor. And then at the end, you have some kind of call to action. Right?
And well, the call to action doesn't have to be download this thing or buy my book or anything. It can be something as simple as follow me on social or let's connect or let's further the conversation. It doesn't have to be something salesy. I chose to use a lead magnet example, but you can do something way more lightweight. Yeah,
even if it's just like a small touch telling a story, you don't have to have click on the link below. So let me give you guys another example, and I want you guys to look for each of these 4 things in this next video. And then after that, we'll talk about how you guys can make your own videos and what kind of structure they fit into. So this is one of my 1-minute videos. And again, I'm going to use each of these components, right? The hook, establishing some kind of pain, a solution, and a call to action at the end. When I was 3 years old, I went to SeaWorld for the first time and got attacked by a seagull. I was just walking with a churro. The seagull flies down out of the sky, grabs onto it. We start having a tug of war until the seagull lets go, pecks me in the forehead, flies away with my churro. So I learned very early on in life, sometimes things don't go your way. A lot of you may feel that way about your marketing or advertising campaigns. Maybe you've been trying to put some spend against Facebook ads and they aren't working. They're just not doing anything for you. I've spent over $1 million on Facebook. I do Facebook ads for a living. I studied advertising in school. My name's Logan. I'd love to work with you on your campaigns. So you see, that was a short video, and we say 1 minute. It doesn't have to be 1 minute right on the dot. But the whole principle is shorter is better because the people are watching on their phones, right? So they don't have time to watch a 10-minute video. But I started with a hook, right? When I was at SeaWorld at 3 years old, I get attacked by a seagull. Okay, that's kind of an interesting story. Then I lead into pain. I learned sometimes things don't go your way. You might feel that way about your campaign, solution. I do Facebook ads. I spent over $1 million. Call to action, let's work on your campaigns together, right? So some things for you guys to avoid is most people feel uncomfortable on videos So think about the stories you can tell and think about the hooks you can use, right? Start with like when I was, what are the most exciting things that happened to you? You guys are in school right now. For me, when I was in school, I remember every single year they would ask you at the beginning of class to stand up and say who you are, where you're from, and what you like to do, etc. A lot of people, if you've never made videos before, they kind of go into that default mode where they don't know what to say, so they start introducing themselves. So I see a lot of people's videos where they'll just start like, hey, I'm Logan, I'm 28, I went to school at BYU, I studied advertising. By that time, you've lost your audience, right? So start with something interesting with some kind of hook or story.
Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes you'll find that if you're going to start writing ads or building your personal brand, what you write in the copy, you often say again in the video, and what you can do is just chop that whole first part of the video off and just start, with the meat of it, with the most important thing, with something that's interesting to the audience. It happens over and over and over again, and it's the same principle if you're writing blogs or if you're doing videos. Just dive into the action because everyone has short attention spans now, right? I mean, we're not kidding when we say 0 to 3 seconds is when most of the audience will leave. You don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, so we want you guys to get in the practice making 1-minute videos and post your videos online, right? If they're not good, don't worry. A lot of people are nervous, like, oh, I don't think I'm very good on camera. Don't worry, I'm not either. Like, I mumble a lot, I stumble over my words. That's okay. If the video is no good, it's not going to get a lot of reach, but you just want to get in the habit of it because Facebook is definitely a film to play game. And again, video is a great way to tell a story. I want to teach you guys how to categorize your videos into 3 different buckets and then walk you through an example of how if you're a college student, you could use this to, for example, get a job. And this is something I did when I was in school. So first, you start by making 1-minute videos and you want to put them in buckets of why, how, and what. And the difference between these 3 is why equates to storytelling, how equates to educating, and what equates to what you're selling, right? So why is first getting started. So for example, when I was in college, I taught guitar lessons to try and get through school. So for me, as a guitar player, my why story might be something like, growing up, my mom made me take piano lessons. I studied the piano for 4 years. When I was 14, my friend introduced me to Metallica, and I realized I really loved heavy metal and these Metallica riffs. So I ditched the piano and started playing guitar instead. I took some lessons. I was self-taught for part of the time, and I've been playing the last 12 years. I love it. I still play today, and I even do guitar lessons, and it's a ton of fun. All right, so just telling a simple story about how I got introduced into guitar, right? So why is introducing yourself through a story, as opposed to saying, hi, I'm Logan, I play guitar, I'm really good, I'd love to teach you, right? Like, that's like salesy, like a door-to-door salesman. You don't want to do that. You can see the story is a lot more powerful. The how video is educating. So again, I want people to know if I'm going to do guitar lessons, you kind of want to know your guitar teacher actually knows how to play the guitar. So my how video might be, here's how you play a C chord, or here's how you play the pentatonic scale. Here's how you tune a guitar. Here's how you add strings if your string's broken. Here's how you hold a pick properly. Right? So I'm just making short videos showcasing my expertise. Right? So you want to use a show me, don't tell me approach here. Again, don't just say, yeah, I'm really good at guitar, I've been playing for 12 years, would love to teach you, right? Actually show that you're good at something, you're actually educating. And then this leads to the what. So for me, the what was, oh yeah, I do guitar lessons, it's $10 for 30 minutes, and the first lesson's free, and you sign up for a month or whatever. So that's actually talking about what you do. So this method is kind of for selling something, but again, if there's something you're good at, right, you don't have to have like a business to do this, right? You can do this in school right now to make money or, to get your first job, but you want to kind of categorize people from a first touch, again, introducing yourself through a story, showcasing you're legit, and then if you want to make some money or have some other service you want to offer, you do that last with the web videos.
And something that will make this, kind of bring this all together is if you're not selling something, you might think about this as know, like, and trust. And, if you're applying for a job or trying to get people to know who you are, who are people going to hire, right? The people actually do hire who they know, like, and trust. And so these videos, you're talking about what you care about, what you're interested in, what your goals are. These videos, how you're going about learning or the things that you've done, and then what you're actually looking for or, seeking. And so that's another framework. So why, how, what directly corresponds to know, like, and trust. And the 1-minute videos are so key here because when someone watches a why video, there are ways that you can show them the how video and then the what video. So you're actually building the relationship with a client or a potential employer through your 1 minute videos.
Yeah. So someone that came to one of our conferences a while ago, his name was AJ. He used the power of 1 minute video to get a job at Yelp. So he had left a ton of Yelp reviews, and he was also in school and he wanted to work at Yelp. So what he did was he pulled out his iPhone, made a 1 minute video talking about why he was qualified to work at Yelp. And then he used our dollar a day principle where he took that video, targeted everyone that worked at Yelp, and then Yelp reached out to him. You know, of course, all the people that work at Yelp are seeing this kid, AJ, who's really qualified. So they reached out to him and he got a job at Yelp like a week later, right? So if you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to grow your brand, the two things you need is A, making 1 minute videos, then B, maybe put $1 a day against it. But you don't have to be a business to do this, right? So let's talk about a few of the objections people have and how you can get started. Now, you don't need fancy equipment. All you need is your smartphone. Nowadays, the iPhone films in 4K. You don't need a lapel mic or lights, but if you do want something, you can get something super affordable like this off Amazon for just a few bucks. And you know, this is one of my favorite ones. So you just clip it over the camera, and then all you have to do is just point it at you, or I can ask my friend Ben, you know, to point it at me. And then I can just talk about 1 minute for how I play guitar or whatever. Or I happen to know Ben also likes heavy metal, like Avenged Sevenfold and Trivium and stuff. So I could say, hey Ben, you know, what are some of your favorite artists or something? And he could talk about that, and now I can talk about, oh great, you know, again, the guitar angle, right? So different ways you can interview other people. You can talk about things you're grateful for, if you have mentors. If you're watching this video right now, you can make a 1 minute video about one thing you learned from some of these lessons. From myself, from Ben, from Dennis, from anyone in any of these lessons. Then you can post it online, right? And then tag us and we'll reach back out to you so that you can use it to build relationships.
It's a great way. It's a great way to build a personal touch, and it's also a great way to demonstrate, you know, to document your experiences. There's no resistance to making a 1 minute video, right? I know it can be scary to pull your phone out and press the button and try to talk to the camera, but all you need is your phone. And when you go out and do things, always take a moment and pause and think, you know, can I document this real quick? It takes 1 minute. You don't have to be, you know, one of those people who pulls their phone out at the concert and records the whole concert. You know, some people actually ask that you put your phones away. Just pull it out for 1 minute. You know, get something that you can document and then show, you know, let people know what you're up to. People want to know what you're up to and they want to know what you care about. And the 1 minute videos are just, you know, it's another way. It's almost an automated way to just make connections and build your brand.
Yeah, so encourage you guys to go make some 1 minute videos and use them, you know, post them online on Facebook, Twitter, these different platforms, and just see the power, right? See the connections you're able to build. See if you're able to drive through some kind of funnel where, again, if you want to teach guitar lessons or maybe cooking, there's something you're good at, right, that you could use to make money, to grow your network, and you could put that on a resume, right? Or again, if you're trying to get a job, instead of just being like every other applicant that just like puts in a resume, you know, imagine I'm a manager. I probably get dozens or hundreds of resumes a day, you know, so it's hard to stand out that way. But if when I log onto my Facebook, I see a video from you telling me why you're qualified, that's definitely going to make you stand out a lot more, right? So definitely, hopefully you guys will be able to take action and follow these 4 components, and that's how you can make killer 1 minute videos.